What's up traders, welcome to Failures to Displace, and in this video we're going to take a look at the analysis that led to these two potential setups: an ICT 2022 mentorship model bagging a 4.4R in this morning's London trading session, and a potential silver bullet entry for just a 1.3R if you were trading silver bullet time. Let's jump into the charts now and start the analysis. I'm going to start off as always on our 15-minute time frame. Using our Liquidity Tracker Indicator, we can see the various levels of untapped liquidity around us. So we have Asia low, which is the green line below us, and New York PM session low also, quite close proximity to each other. And then yesterday's low, which was put in the New York AM session as well, obviously untapped. We've taken the Asia high already. So potentially we could be looking for a reversal here. So when the line has turned red, that means liquidity has been taken. And we've taken the New York PM session high as well. What I would say, if we zoom in a little bit, is we have taken these levels with displacement. So we've left a rather large 15-minute fair value gap here. We've not just wicked through this level, we've closed with a big body close above the Asia high, and then also a strong body close above the New York PM session high. So this to me looks like quite bullish price action as we stand at the moment. So to look for other levels of liquidity, obviously we have the London high from yesterday, which is our green level, but I'm also seeing this 15-minute swing high just below a 15-minute fair value gap and 15-minute order block. So we've got some liquidity here, which we should certainly keep an eye on. So this will be buy side liquidity. Let's just get it to the top of there instead of it being in the middle of nowhere. So we've got some buy side above us as well. So we'll drop onto the 1 minute as we come into the London session and see what we are offered. So this is our 15-minute fair value gap that we're going to keep an eye on. We can see, I will just mark out here, our New York PM session high. So I'm going to mark that as a failure to displace, because if we start closing back in this range, then we could probably expect further downside to the Asia low and the PM session low below us. Right now, we seem to be closing strongly above this level. Let's start scrolling through price action. So strong bearish candle at the open of the London hour. This would be our break of structure here if we're going to take a short position. So we'd want displacement below this low, which is taking us back into this range. We need to be aware of the 15-minute fair value gap, however. So shorts in this position, we may want some additional confirmation. You can see that we have just with a wick taken this low. So we do have a market structure shift here, but I wouldn't class this as a full break of structure because I want to see displacement candles breaking and closing below this swing low. So again, we've taken the low. That is definitely not a displacement candle. So it's respecting the New York PM session high here, which is our thick red line, and also the top of the 15-minute fair value gap. So definitely no short trades at this point. Closing into the fair value gap, again I wouldn't class that as any kind of displacement, only a small candle. We pulled straight back, respecting the top of the 15-minute fair value gap here. We do have obviously a very large 1-minute fair value gap, so we can monitor this just to see how well this is respected, specifically looking at the 50% for a reaction. So we'll keep an eye on that as we approach it. It's a strong bullish candle back into the fair value gap. Again, I wouldn't be looking to take an entry here because I aren't comfortable that this is displacing below this low. So this potentially could just be a failure to displace above this to seek further buy side. And given that we're in a strong bullish move at the moment, you're really catching a knife if you're trying to get a short at this point, I would think. So let's just see how it reacts at this 15-minute fair value gap. A little bit of a rejection. So strong close through the fair value gap. So because the 50% hasn't held in this, I'm considering this as a very weak fair value gap, so I wouldn't expect it to be offering much in terms of resistance at the moment. In fact, it looks like it could be flipping to an inversion fair value gap. Yeah, the 50% is now getting respected to the upside. So we have closed through, come back, tested the 50% from the upside, so this could be potentially an inversion fair value gap now, acting as support to help us drive price higher, potentially looking for that buy side liquidity we identified earlier. So still respecting the 50% of that fair value gap, closing above it. We're now breaking above this swing high. And again, look, we are displacing above the swing high. So body close is displacing above the swing high. So everything at the moment is telling us we are in a buy program looking for buy side liquidity. Another strong bullish candle. So a break of structure on the 2022 mentorship currently would be here. However, we're in the middle of no man's land. I would want to see this liquidity be taken before I start considering a 2022 entry now, or I would want to see us closing back inside yesterday's New York PM session range. Don't really want to be getting involved in the middle of this range. And now we're driving strong towards that liquidity, which is good to see. Okay, so we've just taken the liquidity, instantly pulled back in the range. So currently we've not displaced above this liquidity. So you can see the comparison between the two. We had a strong bullish candle which displaced above the New York PM session liquidity down here versus a rejection candle as it stands. Our swing low for a break of structure currently is here. So we have a higher low to the left, higher low to the right, lower low in the middle. So this is our swing low. And we've just created the new high. So that's our break of structure. So we're going to want to see some kind of displacement coming down, closing beyond this level for a 2022 entry. That's a strong engulfing candle. So we're looking, this candle is essentially as big as both of these two candles combined. So possibly the start of some displacement here. A bit of a rejection, so we've not displaced below this low. Have left the fair value gap only very small at this point. Definitely not looking to take a short off that at the moment. Slightly better candle. Again, we're not closing below this low though, so we want some body closes below this low. Currently we're respecting this fair value gap. That's more like it. So we've closed straight through this fair value gap and volume imbalance. So this is showing us more likely that we've got a sell program in play at the moment. So larger candles coming down now compared to the bullish candles there. Yes, we do have this large bullish candle that was driving us to take liquidity, but on the flip side now we are creating engulfing bearish candles. So we can see that the bullish candles seem to be losing momentum. We will take a fib. We'll run our fib from the high to the low. For a 2022 entry, we want to be taking sells in a premium. So 50% is our premium discount level. So if we are going to be taking a sell, that fair value gap is currently in a premium, which means that we could take a sell from that area. We have had a body close, strong body close, so I'll class this as displacement below the low. Let's see what we get. Another fair value gap there. This fair value gap would not be one to enter because it's not in a premium, so we don't want to be selling from the first fair value gap. This fair value gap is actually just below optimal trade entry, and we have an order block here as well, and a breaker block here. So we've got lots of things stacking up here. We've closed through this breaker block, which is this last bearish candle. we've got an order block here, fair value gap, and optimal trade entry. So lots of ICT concepts telling us we could potentially take a short from that level. So with that in mind, I'll take a short position, stop loss above the high, take profit would be at least this swing low. So we are very, very bullish. So we could take a partial here and then look to take this lower after we've taken a partial off. So to our at this point. Pulling away, so we'll have to follow this down with our fib. So we'll do this again, optimal trade entry. Now this is at the bottom of that fair value gap, so I'll just zoom this in so you can see. So that's our fair value gap, so the entry is literally going to be on the top of the fair value gap and the 618 optimal trade entry. If we get a pullback, follow the fib down. So optimal trade entry is a little bit lower now, still sticking on this fair value gap though, so the fair value gap is our entry point. Okay, so we've got a strong pullback. We've respected this packed set of fair value gaps here, and price is pulling back. Pull our fib down. This is our new swing low. So optimal trade entry, we're almost at the 786 here for our fair value gap, where our entry would be. Okay. Big rejection candle here. So this is one of those moments, if you're taking an entry, you're going to have to be brave, because that's a strong buyback. This is the kind of candles that they like to put in place to scare us out of taking entries. Our entry is basically at the 786 now, which is again a strong Fibonacci rejection level. Still looking at this order block, respecting this fair value gap at the moment. So we've got this 1 minute fair value gap here. So we're into the silver bullet hour now. Silver bullet hour starts at 3 AM. Price is pulling back, big strong engulfing candle. Because we have swept liquidity and we are pulling back into that range, we should be looking for further sell side, which our sell side liquidity would be down here at the moment. So from a silver bullet point of view, my analysis would lead me to think I will be looking for a bearish fair value gap entry. I'm going to stick with the 2022 mentorship. So taking my entry here, however, there would be a silver bullet bearish entry as well, I believe. Okay, so strong tag into the fair value gap, order block, breaker block, and a nice rejection from there, so that's great. Now we do have a much nicer swing low to target here, giving us a 3.3R trade. Because we've taken these lows, which were initially our target, well, really, we would think at least this sell side would get taken. Most likely, it'll come back and retest the top of this 15-minute fair value gap. So we've been tagged in. Big bearish engulfing candle. So again, that's a nice displacement candle there. Another displacement candle. So yeah, good strong move. Just taking that low just, so there would be your take profit if you didn't get missed out by the spread. that should take you out. So that's officially taking you out, giving you a lovely 3-hour trade. Again, you would need to have some nerve to hold this with this strong bullish momentum taking you back. But we did have the order block, we did have the breaker block, we did have the breaker structure, and we have just swept a 15-minute swing high. Come down, so this would be our last take profit, top of the 15-minute fair value gap that we identified. So potential for, what's this, 4.4R at that level. We have just tapped the top of the fair value gap, so that would take us out of that trade. And see if we respect the 15-minute fair value gap, which we have done. So we've had a break of structure for a reversal here. So that would be our break of structure for a buy position with body closes. We're not leaving displacement, so I definitely wouldn't be looking to take any longs here. But this does show that we potentially have got a reversal on the cards. Leaving displacement further up now. So that fair value gap is still being respected. Look, it's not closed through it. And then a strong buyback. So we're just coming to the end of the actual trading session now. It's taken that high out. Further liquidity is in the form of our New York session, was it? London session high from yesterday. So previous day's high just up here. That's the end of the session at 4 AM. So that is our London trading session. ICT 2022 mentorship entry based on taking that 15-minute swing high. Fair value gap entry after breaking structure with some good displacement candles. Strong pullback, but then a brilliant reaction driving you pretty much zero drawdown to the target for a potential 4.4R trade. If you were looking to take this as a silver bullet entry, then your entry would have been this bearish fair value gap here. Let's just move that. So at 312, we created a bearish fair value gap, which was obviously tapped into and then targeting the low. Stop loss above that high, taking that low. So that would be your 5 pip take profit for a silver bullet trade. Again, keeping in mind the 15-minute fair value gap along with the New York PM session high that we were retesting. That's the session over and done with. I hope the analysis was useful to you. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments section down below. Likewise, if you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing. I am dropping these videos every single day, trying to get some simple analysis on ICT concepts to see how we can take more profit from the market. Thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you again soon with another video.